Uncle Dave. How are we?
Oh, pretty good. How you doing?
All right. All right, folks. Welcome to Nephew and Uncle Basketball Banter. Uncle Dave, I guess we'll get started with some of these series that just got wrapped up here, the Thunder and the Grizzlies. With
Oh,
the
sure.
that Grizzlies Thunder game, game three, though, the Grizzlies, even though John
Yeah,
Morant went down, they're up 29 and blew a 29-point lead. So that was
yeah.
pretty jarring to see
Sad.
when one of your best players goes down. When you're up that much, you're in the NBA team, you think you have it wrapped up. So that was pretty staggering to watch that you don't see that too
Well,
often.
what even more staggering is that they got down 27, 29. I mean, I really shocked. I was kind of disappointed for the Grizzlies. Not that I've been a big fan of them recently, but I was like, kind of like, see if they could rally. If they win that game, anything's possible. But once Ja gets hurt,
Yeah,
that series is over.
right.
But
Yeah, and
so
then game four, they just get they get blitzed. It's just obviously the Thunder were just a much
yeah.
superior
Well,
team. So
well, the funny thing is that series gets to 2-1. You never know because
yeah, you
again,
never know exactly. Right,
Thunder and the Cavs have never been punched in the mouth yet. So we're gonna have to wait and see what
right.
happens the first time they get punched in the mouth. And so they've had it easy so far, but the Thunder set a record in a 4 game series. No team's ever been outscored by 82 points. That's 20.5 points a game
Yeah, I
that they
think
got
it showed.
outscored
I
on
think it was
average.
like the '87 Lakers or something was like the other team in
Yeah,
that stat there that had like a
yeah.
plus minus margin that high.
But it's funny when you look at the statistics for the series, besides points per game, obviously, the only statistic that really jumps out is the turnovers, which means obviously the Thunder are getting a lot more shots. And even though they're only shooting 2% more, if I'm getting 10 more shots than you a game, obviously, 4% more, that's gonna add up after a while. So the turnover stats the only really big one. They average 20 turnovers a night, basically, the Grizzlies. So that's unheard of in the NBA. You can't do that. And then the Thunder are getting easy baskets, and the Thunder are a great defensive team, but the Thunder didn't even play that well, and they had a great series. It's just a shame that like I said, you're up 27. I'd like to see if the Grizz could have like shown a little respect for themselves, but that was very disappointing once Shaw gets hurt like that. So as the offseason comes, the Grizzlies got a hell of a choice to make with what to do with him.
Yeah, you talked about it on our last show. There, it kind of seems like a discombobulated situation over there. What do you do with that? I mean, you could try to say, hey, we could retool this thing, or you could, like you said, you could scrape the whole thing. You can go either direction. I think they have a. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do in the offseason. Because
Yeah,
as far as some of the on the court antics and off the court, you don't know, is he a guy you could rely and depend on, like a guy like Jason Tatum, or it's not like that type of situation. So I think there's that concern as well. So it'll be very interesting to see that what happens with them.
yeah. Can you give him the max deal? I don't know. I wouldn't do it, me
Yeah,
personally.
I'd be very wary of that. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I mean, I don't know.
But I really look
I don't.
forward to seeing what the Thunder, what matchup they get next, whether it's the Nuggets or the Clippers, how they look. I think it's going to be very telling.
Sure,
They're
sure.
going
It's
to
gonna be really telling.
because
It's gonna be a
that
lot of fun.
they're going to be ready for prime time, no matter who they get, the Nuggets or the Clippers. That question will be
Sure,
answered for sure.
sure,
And then
sure.
we'll switch over, Uncle Dave, to the other series that wrapped up, the Cavaliers and the Heat. And it's so funny. We talked about how the Heat really looked prideful in the first two games, and the last two, it just looked like they were mentally checked out already at that point.
Oh yeah, they packed their bags. They
Yeah.
look like they gave up, totally gave up, and that was surprising. For a Heat team with that culture, but they got outscored by a ton also, and just pretty incredible that they got outscored by 31 per game. So basically, they even broke the different record that obviously we said Memphis just broke. So the Heat and the Cavs all blowouts. Cavs average margin of victories, so the average on the series is 31.
Yeah, and much like the
So
Thunder series, like the Thunder, the
yeah.
Cavaliers, they're going to really have a challenge with the Indiana Pacers, who looked great. So I mean, that's you got
Yeah, the
a challenge
Pacers and
there.
Cavs should be one of the most fun series, although the Pacers shouldn't even have been there yet. I've never seen a team give away a game. That's the first time I think someone has led by 6 with 30 seconds left and lost the game, I think. And I mean, I almost can't imagine that. Somebody was saying it was the first time they blew a lead like that, but that can't be because the Spurs were up 6 with 22 seconds left, as
Yeah,
we know.
right.
But that game was two really bad turnovers on Trent. But yeah, the Cavs sitting back to the Heat. The Cavs obviously outshot them by a lot. Tyler Hughes was very good. The free throw line for the Heat was a problem, 70%. But the Cavs shot 44% from three, and Jaron Allen
Yeah, he's a monster.
and basically they tried to break up Allen and Mobley, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I think that the Heat, it's going to be interesting to see what they do as well in the offseason as well, because Stephen A. Smith, he said that, maybe it's time to move on from from Pat Riley as far as the managerial stuff goes. I don't think so. I think the Heat were
Me neither.
they were just in the finals. So I mean, they're a couple seasons ago. So what are we talking about here? It's not
Yeah.
like he's lost his fastball or Eric Spoelstra. I think you how many teams would die for that duo right there to be running the franchise,
Well,
right? So I think that's a
plus,
little
yeah,
ridiculous.
plus people always panic.
Reaction.
Yeah, people overreact. I mean, obviously Mitchell's been a good find. Whether he can be a everyday point guard for you, you got to find out. Something happened with Jaquez because he played a ton last year. This year he
Yeah,
hardly
well, he
played at
was
all.
nowhere, right? And Kevin Love, obviously, his father
Yeah,
passed away, so it was that's why
sure.
he wasn't there. But
But
yeah,
then
very
you
good.
then yeah, so they if they go get KD and maybe another guard for some depth, I think they'd
Well,
be
yeah,
fine. But
you're in Miami, so you're going to attract free agents, right? So
oh
you're going to
sure,
have that as well. And some people are going to gravitate to that culture, like you said. KD, that's a guy maybe you get in there if you get him. Obviously, your fortunes change very much so if you're able to land
sure,
a guy like him.
sure. And we got like I'm trying to remember what they got for Butler, but you gotta assume that they're gonna draft well. They usually do, and if they can get a KD and maybe like I said, some more depth, I think they'll be right back in the mix. The problem with the Heat have been, even though they've advanced, like the bubble and places like that, it's they haven't had great regular seasons, and I think that's what a guy like Stephen A. Smith, who's got to bitch about something,
Yeah,
so he gets paid to bitch. So the thing is, like, I'm not getting away from Pat Riley and Alonzo Mourning making the decisions.
no, no.
Um, Never been a Zoe fan as a player, but obviously he's been a good executive.
I mean,
But the thing is,
even post LeBron, let's just take that out of the
sure,
equation. Doing that,
sure,
the Heat have had
yeah,
pretty decent success even post him as far as a franchise goes.
sure,
Look at all the teams in the NBA; they're right, and as far as success goes,
sure.
they certainly have done fairly well.
Yeah, they need some backups guards. They need a backup center, and they've got to use that money that maybe you've got freed up. I'm not exactly sure the terms. To go get a guy like KD, who's there's be some other guys out there that obviously are worth something. You never know. Maybe they'll go get Giannis. There's a lot of mumblings about Giannis, but if I'm Milwaukee, I'm not letting him go.
Oh no, no. So you can attract a star, maybe a couple of young, hungry guys. You can
Sure,
change that thing to around.
sure.
We'll move on, Uncle Dave. We'll go to over the other series that wrapped up to the Indiana Pacers and the Milwaukee Bucks. And uh, I really liked what Tyrese Halliburton did. He basically said his father was a fool for getting on the court and getting in
Yeah.
Giannis's face. So I think it's like if I thought of you immediately, I'm like, this is AAU culture right here.
Yep, that's exactly what the problem with American basketball is. And I actually felt bad for Giannis because like he's not that kind of guy. And you feel like, well, this is what we've done over here in America. I mean, like we talk about this all the time. We've cheapened the game. We have 3 or 4 assistants standing up during the game since the bubble. Now we have 5 or 6 players standing up at any one time. Have guys wearing tracksuits. We need to get back to some class and dignity in the
I
NBA.
agree. I
This is
agree.
the best league in the world. Let's get back to actually putting a freaking tie on or a nice jacket. I mean, this is the NBA. You're getting paid a lot of money.
Right.
I don't want to hear about your uncomfortable bullshit. There's plenty of us who'd be uncomfortable to make that money. And I'm also tired of having 5 or 6 guys. As a person who's coached for 35 years, it used to be the first time a second person stood up on a bench, you would eat up.
Yeah.
And you know what? It kept the game respectful. Right now, we got like a Rutger Park feel here, and Rutger Park is great, but this is not the NBA. It's become lackadaisical, which has also contributed to the lack of giving a crap about the regular season and things of that nature. And again, that's why you have sevens favored over twos, and you never had that really before. If you can try to think back, there's not too many of those. This regular season just doesn't mean a lot. And I know there's been trades with some of these teams late, but the Indiana Pacers, I love the pace of play. I mean, Halliburton shot him out of it at the end of regulation. He missed 3 threes, 3 possessions in a row, and then he got him back in it. And Gary Trent just shot the hell out of it, former Dookie, but 2 horrendous turnovers. And how do you let Halliburton get downhill in that last possession is beyond me.
Yeah, obviously the series we knew was over once game four happens and Damian Lillard tears his Achilles there. So we
Yeah,
knew that
absolutely.
automatically then we knew Indiana was going to win
I
this
give the
series.
Bucks credit though.
Yeah,
Credit the
they
Bucks came
did
out the other
battle.
night.
They did
They
battle,
came
yeah.
out. They should have won that game. Bucks should have won that game. We should be having a game 6 tonight. And the best thing about Indiana though is their balance. Their leading scorer only averaged 19.8
Yes.
and for the series, and so that's a huge thing. Turnovers, both teams kind of even on that area. Rebounds, the Bucks out rebounded them. The assists, though, the Pacers share the ball so well. O'Connell was great off the bench. Nemhart was great. Nesmith was great. See what the Pacers have done, and nobody ever gives credit for this. Here's a guy like Nemhart and Nesmith. Those are 2 guys that are never going to make anybody's first, second, or third team All NBA, but those are guys that help you win championships in every way.
Yeah, it's true.
It's the KCPs with the Lakers. It's KCP with the Nuggets. Those guys that come off the bench, and I know Aaron Gordon's a former All-Star, so we can't count him, but it's those guys that you develop that give you something that you never imagined they could give you. Or Miles Turner. I mean, it's such a good team. I mean, like
It's unbelievable
they're
the
a real
depth though.
fun team.
They have 7 guys who average double figures for the series. I mean,
Yeah,
that's incredible. I mean,
yeah,
you know,
and I'll,
TJ McConnell and then Benedict Mathurin,
yep.
Nesmith, you just have guys coming from every angle, so they can just keep constant pressure on you. So we have a deep bench, like you said. It could sometimes be a curse, but if you manage it right, it can be a blessing. There's no doubt.
I like them too because they had a real strict game plan. They were going to let Giannis get his and shut off the water for everybody else. And
Right.
until last couple of games, they did shut off the water, and then Trent got hot. But Trent can really shoot. That's why I always thought Trent would work out well with Portland with the two guards who could get him the ball. But he never got the chance to mature out there. And then he wandered around in bogey land there in Toronto and but you could see that he's got some ability there. But everybody's overreacting even to obviously yeah, what are you gonna do with Lillard is puzzling. He won't be back for a while, but you're not far away here. I still think that there's some other guys that should probably get some minutes on that team. You do have some veterans, and if they're free agents, you get them to come back for less money. If not, then you rebuild a little bit around Giannis. But I don't think you have to panic. You still have Lillard under contract. If you can lessen that, that'd be great. Obviously, Giannis is a stud himself. But you have enough there. I mean, to get
Oh,
some things done. All
absolutely.
right,
I think if you get, like you
low,
said, good backup center or maybe a stud center like a Mark Williams kind of guy, and you get another
yeah,
good wing, I think you're right. You're right back
yeah,
there.
yeah. Go. I mean, all right, Lopez is probably done. His jump shot looks like it's done, but yeah, you still have some guys there. And Kuzma was just awful. And I like Kuz, but he was terrible this series. You know, I mean, I'm really surprised by that series as far as like some of the production of some of the players. Portis, I didn't think was himself. Obviously, Trent was very good, as we just said. I'd like to see Pat Connaughton get a couple of minutes. Torian Prince, I still think's a better player than that too. But who knows? We're not there in practice every day, and I really believe that that team is all right. The problem is the window for them is going to close soon because I'll tell you what,
Yes,
Orlando's
catching
coming,
up.
and
Yeah,
so
they're
is
catching
Detroit.
up. Right. Do you think
Orlando and
next
Detroit are
season,
coming.
if you're Milwaukee and you don't make improvements to the roster, those teams I think they jump you and they hurdle you.
Yeah, Orlando and Detroit are coming. Then
Yes.
that's like a freight train. You can see it unless they get stupid and they give away half their team for one star. But if Orlando goes and gets another good guard, this is going to be trouble.
If
And
you're a
they
good
were
swingman, though, I think the Milwaukee Bucks, I think, are a really good destination. You figure, Damian Lillard going down right now, post All-Star break next season, he'll be coming back around that time. So you
sure,
figure you could survive the first half of the season
sure,
without him, then you really turn the Jets on and have a good second half. You're right, and you figure you could be a top 4 seed again next year.
sure. And like I said, I mean, like there's some players there. I mean, you got to go out and you got to maximize a couple of maybe mid-level contracts and see what's coming off the books. But I'm not letting Giannis walk out the door. I know Milwaukee's not an attractive place, but I still think there's some pieces there. If you can get him to come back for less money, great. I think they showed some heart the other night, so I was happy about that. But at the same time, like I said, Portis was disappointing in the series and Kuz was disappointing. I thought Kuz would help them. I was 1,000% wrong. I said Pat Connaughton. I don't know why he's just in the doghouse all of a sudden.
Yeah, I don't know why
Lopez,
either.
maybe,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm like, why is he?
I mean, Lopez, maybe he's not there anymore. I mean, who knows? But at the same time, I think there's some players there. We just got to find a way to get something out of them. But they better hurry up, like I said, because Detroit's coming. And Orlando's coming, unless they make one of those terrible GM moves like my Vikings made for Herschel Walker back in 1989.
This is another team though, the Bucks. I think the off season is going to be very telling and very interesting
It's
for
gonna be
them.
fun. It's gonna
Yeah,
be a fun off season this year. Let's
absolutely.
following it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
It's I think they either improve their standing or they really go, and take a step back. It's going to be one of the
Absolutely.
other. Yeah, I have a hard
And
time.
this is when GMs earn their money.
Yes, no doubt. Then we'll go. Uncle Dave will talk about the Celtics and Magic series that just wrapped up, and I
Yeah.
have to say
Yeah.
The Magic go down 4-1, but they really I thought were in the series. It was just the other night. I think it was what game 4. It was tied at a
Yep.
halftime there, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden the Celtics just turn it on
Well,
and
yeah.
play. But
Game
the
four and
Magic are right
five,
there.
both the Celtics. Yeah, this Magic are right there. We talked about this last podcast. We talked about spurt ability that the Celtics have, and the OKC has, and Pacers have, where you'll be even for 42 out of the 48 minutes, but they'll have two 10-0 runs over a 3-minute span twice, and then you lose by 20.
Right.
And the Magic were the worst 3-point shooting team in the playoffs, them in Houston, and the Magic showed that. They only averaged 93 points. But you could see that Wagner's got to get in the gym. But don't forget, they're missing the stud guard Suggs and they're missing Wagner's brother. So, I mean, that team is severely compromised, but you can see there's a lot there. If they can keep that team together and go get some perimeter help, this is going to be a problem for the rest of the league. Banchero's a beast. He's 6'10", 270, and handles the ball like that. We got problems here for the rest of the league.
Right, right.
Um,
He averages
and
29 in this series on 44%
yeah,
shooting. He's
yeah.
already a man at this point. It's
Yeah, he is a man. Statistically, they didn't shoot well, but we knew that coming in that the
yes,
Magic were not going to shoot well. 26% from three and 42% overall, not good numbers, and 69% from the foul line. Them and the Rockets have been bad from the foul line. But this series, you can see that this team is up and coming. And Boston, I have to say, showing some warts here. I felt like if the Knicks could have got out of their series the other night, I think they might have be a live dog here, but they're going to be so banged up from tonight and maybe even a game seven if they get there. And if they get out of game seven, if they win the game seven. But the problem is that Boston's shown some weakness here. My man Holiday's been out. You can't underestimate how good he's been. Uh, you know, obviously Tatum's got the bad wrist, Brown's got a bad wrist, a bad knee. Obviously, the big fella's got the giant cut on his head. Al Horford looks a little banged up. There's some things going on here. They're very deep.
yeah. I think that if you get them in a very high charged type of energy kind of up and down game, I don't know if they could if that translates well for them necessarily. So if you're a team like the Cavaliers or the Pacers, it's a really hung and younger team. I think that you can pose a threat to them.
Yeah, because they're going to take their shots and they're not going to fear it. Derek White is such a good player, but the sad thing is that it's you could just see that the Magic are very close, but the Celtics, I believe, are just a little more vulnerable than the world is giving them credit for. And I still think they're the best team, and
Yes.
but I think that there's a little kink in the armor right there, and I really believe that.
Yep. Well, they're certainly licking their chops, and whoever comes next year, the
Sure,
Knicks and Pistons, like you said, if you're the Celtics, I'm sure you're rooting for the Pistons tonight, and you have a game seven. That's just
sure,
a clash of the Titans there, so it's going to be interesting to see. But we'll
sure.
with the last series, Uncle Dave, that just got wrapped up, this Lakers and Timberwolves
Oh my God, oh my
series.
God,
And
this series is atrocious.
let's just talk about your what you thought Coach Reddick did on Game Four, where
Oh my
he
God, oh my
played no
God.
substitutions in the second half. It's never been done before, by the way.
Never been done. I mean, this guy. I mean, listen. I'm a
Then
diehard
he
Duke
gets
fan,
annoyed
but
at the question
there's two
after
Duke,
that.
there's two Duke guys I never liked. JJ Redick is one, and Kyrie Irving's the other. I thought Redick was just a guy who was the one trick pony his whole life and did a lot of talking for a guy who never won shit. Um, Bottom line is, I respect his work ethic and stuff, but I tell you what, him mocking the older players in the NBA, not a fan of that. Bob Cousy could still take him off the dribble, I'm sure. The other thing is, also like saying how easy this was going to be. I mean, stick to the podcast like me and you are doing, because I'll tell you what, he made some major mistakes. I watched that game horn to horn last night. They ran one set. They ran the old Utah Jazz, John Stockton cross screen for Karl Malone set. They ran one play basically the whole night that have any consequence with a screen. You have two of the best players on the planet right now, and you can't get some offense rolling there. That's a disgrace. The no substitutions with a 40-year-old on the court.
I know you can't do that.
Uh, and Luca just coming off a fucking stomach virus, excuse my
Yeah,
French,
you
the
can't
game
do that.
before. I mean, you got to be kidding me. I mean,
Yeah.
just please tell me that how can you tell me you don't know what you're doing by acting like that? You know it, don't know what you're doing.
Right, and on the
You're
other
telling me
side, they're
that,
subbing fresh bodies in. How do you expect them to compete with
yeah,
that?
and you're telling me that Vanderbilt can't play at all? I mean, Jackson Hayes can't help you. Dalton
Uh,
Connect can't play at all.
How about
I
Markeith
mean,
Morris? He's a vet too. Throw him out there. Tell him to fucking rough
yeah,
someone up.
yeah, he'll hit somebody. There's no doubt about it. So last night he puts Max Kleber in the game, who hasn't played supposedly since
It's in
January
Yeah,
27th.
exactly. He's not played in like almost half a year here.
I mean, what in God's name is he doing? I mean, are you trying to get fired? I mean, maybe he is trying to get fired. He's a smart guy.
Yeah,
But I mean, like, just and I go on these websites and people just these Bron Michael Jordan arguments. The guy scored 5 points in the last two fourth quarters. Just
yeah,
stop,
yeah.
please. And the other thing is he's 40 years old, so I'll give him a pass.
You got to give him
But
some
the same,
break. Yeah, a little bit.
right.
Yeah,
But at the same time, like, what are we doing? They're talking about this guy was the next Pat Riley as a coach. I mean, are you kidding me?
yeah. It's ridiculous. I
When
think.
Pat Riley walked into that Laker team, yeah, they were a championship team, but they lost in a best of three series to the Rockets, 2-1. Moses Malone when Magic just got back from knee surgery, so people forget that. But then the next year, Pat Riley cheated his balls off, ran that illegal 1-3-1 in 82 versus the Sixers and pissed off the whole NBA. He got away with it. Played his own, played a 1-3-1 trap.
Why would
And
you know
basically,
if you're JJ Redick? Why would you tip your hand that you're gonna not play Jackson Hayes? You're basically giving the Timberwolves coaching staff a free pass.
yeah,
Like, okay, we're gonna
yeah,
totally game plan differently for them then.
yeah. And
And
I
then you
just
see
don't get it.
Gobert, he has a career night. Then once you take the size off the floor, he was eating all night.
And then again, I know the Williams trade really hurt. I'm a big believer in Williams. I know his games played is kind of shoddy in Charlotte, but Charlotte has a habit of killing players lately. But at the same time, like if you could, you should have picked up Dwight Howard. Do something.
Give a phone
Uh,
call on that. I don't
I mean,
understand. You just need a big body to give you 10 minutes. How do you not
and,
do?
and Alex Lynn is not a terrible player. I don't care what anybody says. I've watched him for many years. He's not a
Yeah,
bad
again, he's
player.
a veteran too. It's like you got to try something different, though. I mean, it was obvious, especially after the first half. I'll go
Yeah.
along with trying to play small for a quarter or two there and see how it goes. But it was you knew by the second half there that the start of the second half, this is not working here. You got to try something different here. You have to get some legit length on the floor, and they just didn't do it. And now you're expecting a guy like LeBron to bang down low as the four man all night. It's not happening.
The funny thing about this series, though, is I thought this would be a good matchup for the Lakers because I don't love the T Wolves shooting, but yet the T Wolves shot 35% from three, which
Good
last
enough.
night the T Wolves broke their record. They missed 18 threes in a row and
Yeah,
still
and
won the
Mike
game.
Conley hits the biggest shot of the night. Yep.
So here's the thing. You set a record for futility and you still won the game. This shows you just how bad JJ Redick coached in a series.
Well,
And
that's
I,
the
and
thing.
I tell
In
you
all
what,
honestly, if the Timberwolves have a normal shooting night, they blow them out last night.
exactly, but that how sad is that for the Lakers?
Yeah.
So the thing is, you got some serious issues here. Rob Pelinka just signed an extension. He better be grateful he just signed it because this roster is seriously
Yeah,
flawed.
it is. It is. I don't know where you
You
go with it.
hired you hired a coach who might have had one of the worst series since Missoula his first year. I mean, this was just really, really bad. I mean, maybe he gets better. I mean, usually year two is a little bit more of a learning curve. But at the same time, this guy tried to like make coaching look like it would be easy. Talk about the old NBA players. I tell you what, he should be getting crushed, and he's gotten a pass from what I've been listening to today. But he was god awful in this series. Not playing a sub, then not running any offense basically last night. You're not playing any size on the floor. Luka's getting beat off the dribble like a drum. I mean, Luka's got to do something. I mean, I know he hurt himself last night. I could see him get his back bent backwards, but let's face it, he didn't play defense when he was healthy either. This problem because now LeBron has no foot speed on one side of the floor.
No, he
Luka
doesn't.
doesn't have any foot speed on the other side of the floor. LeBron still won't play opportunities. Reeves wasn't good. He was great all year long. This is just a simple mess, and you need a veteran coaching staff to handle this mess. And this guy isn't that. All
Right.
right. So, and I'm telling you, you can't. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've seen a worse series. I've seen worse games and moments, but as a coach of 35 years, that is a horrendous job by JJ Redick. And I'm a Duke fan telling you that. But like I said, he asked for it, he got it. Toyota. I mean, this guy walked around like the shit was going to be easy, and he was the man, and all the Laker fans he'd up. And I'm a diehard former Laker fan. All right, so once Magic retired, though, I hung him up. But the thing is, I know about Laker history, and this was not a good moment for us. And
No.
you know what? We never had teams that didn't play defense, didn't give effort, and we never had coaches that didn't know what the hell they were doing. But here we are.
Yeah, I
And
don't.
this
I
guy,
don't.
I
I
mean, this
really
guy,
like you
that's
said
horrendous.
with the managerial aspect. I don't know where you go to improve this right now. You have
Well, I
Doncic
don't know what the
and
cap is.
LeBron. Yeah, you have two guys that are ball dominant right there. It's like, all right, you have to attract, I guess, a great rim protector. You have to get a guy like a Mark Williams in there and another maybe a good backup guard or something like that. But I really liked, Hachimura. I thought Finney
He was
Smith
good.
gave him some good stuff too. Austin Reeves, I like as a player. So there's something there, but I think they're kind of stuck in no man's land a little bit though, because I don't think, Minnesota's not going anywhere. Certainly, these teams in the
No.
West are better than them. I don't know what you kind of do. And LeBron next year obviously would be another year older, and Luka Doncic, I hate to say it, but what people have said. I think his body, I think it just breaks down. He's definitely overweight. I think it's an issue there. I don't know where you go, I think, to fix this. And now, maybe
I think you
JJ
got to go
Redick.
get athletic. You got to
Yeah,
get younger,
exactly.
more athletic. It's something that I worry about with the Knicks. You got to get a little more athletic, and I
I mean,
don't
you look
mean
at a
he's
team
bad
like
with
the
the
Rock.
Knicks.
You look at a team like the Rockets that just has a bunch of jumping beans on the team that's just so young and so
Same
hungry.
with the T Wolves.
Yeah, you're
They're
not going to
just
beat
tough
that.
too.
Yeah.
And I just feel like they got to get athletic. If you're not going to use Vanderbilt, cut them loose. They did try to get Williams, so I give Palinka credit for that. I think the problem with Connect is Connect and freaking Reeves, Luka, and LeBron are the same
It's
body types as far as
too much
movement
of the
goes.
same, right? Exactly, right. Too
And
much of
you
the
got to get. And they never got anything out of Vincent. They picked him up a couple of years ago off that great Heat run, and they never used this guy. Should have made him the point guard or something. I mean, you got to go get a roster here. I mean, this roster is just. I mean, Dorian Finney-Smith. I mean, he's a Dallas reject. We know that. I mean, he's a decent player, does a nice job, but come on, you got to get better than this. This is not good. This
yeah,
bench is horrendous. Like I said, Pelinka just signed an extension because everybody was giggling like, and I thought the Lakers would win too, just on smarts alone, but they got crushed on the board, which we understood. Even though the Wolves for the series only out rebounded them by 4, but to get beat as a coach when a team goes and misses 18 threes in a row, it has an historic night of bad 3-point shooting. Again, shows your weakness as a coach. I mean, he didn't have any answers. Then acting like he did in the press conference 2 days ago when they asked him about no sub, he walked off after one
yeah.
question.
I know.
Hey, listen, guy, I'm sorry. You're not fucking Bill Belichick. You ain't getting a pass. Don't give me that Greg Popovich shit either. At least Greg Popovich has won 5 titles. You don't
Exactly
get
right.
to act like that.
No, no, not
You don't get to
especially
act
not
like
right
that,
away.
dude. You sucked.
I
You've
thought he
mocked
was a little
everybody
too.
else.
I thought he was a little too arrogant and snarky. He's like, "Oh, because I'm an inexperienced coach, you're asking me that."
Yeah,
It's like,
you
yeah,
are.
we
That's
are.
right.
We are asking
That's
you
right.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he
If I'm a,
tried to.
if,
Then he tried to pass it off on his assistants, like, "Oh, I'm talking to them too, so they're signing off on it too." But it's like at the end of the day, it's your decision, though, is it
it's
not?
on you. That's why when you move over 6 inches to the next seat, you're the boss now. We've all been there. 6 inch move is the biggest move in the world. All right. So it's 6 inches, but it's like 10 miles to the rest of the world. And,
Right.
you just sit there and, I hate to say it, the T Wolves didn't even play that well in the series.
No,
They are very good defensively. But the bottom line is like,
I mean, game
and here's
four,
the
well,
part
they
that,
should have won. Where LeBron, they don't get the
yep,
ball in bounds right there. I thought that was obviously a
yep.
very bad moment right there.
And
They
here's
should
the
have won
thing that
that
pissed
game.
me off. Here's the thing that really pissed me off last night. Now, I'm sorry, but you can't have things both ways. But we love narratives in this world, and this is what's wrong with the world today. We have narratives that we force down your throat. We know what they all are in politics, but even in sports, we have them. All right, so we have a situation where we go, well, the GM from the Mavs, he did a horrible job, but you know what? Uh, maybe the Lakers GM did a horrible job too. So you can't. Kyrie Irving got hurt. Who in the Lakers got hurt after that deal? So I mean, Luka's back. He's been back a while. All right, didn't have time to gel. You could say that, but I think you're full of crap. If you put Mike and Larry Bird on the court for 5 minutes, they'll figure it out.
Right.
So the bottom line is, you had a chance to do something. You didn't do it. I just don't understand like what this guy's thinking. I mean, so you sat there and everybody's like say, well, it doesn't justify what the Mavs GM did because the Lakers lost. Well, if you criticize the Mavs guy when they lost, even though they lost Kyrie Irving, their only guard, if you're going to criticize him when they lost after the deal, then you get to criticize the Lakers. You can't have it both ways. It does justify a little bit because Luka got exposed last night. One time down the floor, they posted him up. Next time down the floor, they went right by him.
Right. Yeah, I
And
think
JJ makes no adjustments.
yeah, I think it's tough. I think defensively, having him and LeBron on the floor at the same time, like you said, just defensively, you have a major issue there.
Yeah,
You have to,
yeah.
you just can't make
Unless you're going to go zone, which is unheard of, but the Timberwolves can't shoot.
you
My,
saw them doing that though. Actually, last night they were doing some zone
yeah,
and trying to get
but
the
I mean
ball out of
this.
Anthony Edwards. And I got news for you too. They were doing it way too early, I thought, with Edwards with the ball. And you had guys that were just wide open then, and then you had a couple high lows then where they just lob it right up to Gobert. There's just no contest right there, and they just
You can't crush this
slam
coach
it
enough
home.
for that job, though. You
Yeah,
cannot crush him enough for
yeah,
the job he did. That was horrendous coaching.
yeah, yeah. I think they lost 4-1, but I really feel like they should be up 3-2. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, I don't know how they lost. I'm
Yeah.
still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to put it all on Coach Reddick, but yeah, I definitely think he could have done a little bit
Oof, he
better.
was bad. He
And
was
then, and
bad,
then you
dude.
see, did you see at his end of season press conference? Uncle Davey says we're not in shape enough. He was calling
Whose
guys
fault
out.
is that?
Yeah, I know.
And that's going to go over well.
Right. I think you might have a cataclysmic type of situation here where this just does not work out because now you have
Well,
him
I
basically
tell you.
pointing the finger at the players, which I have no problem with, but though that's not going to go over well. Basically, he's pointing the finger at them, saying, "Hey, we have guys who are not in shape enough here."
Well, this is a situation where he can get fired in the next couple of weeks. If this thing tumbles out of control, like with comments, and maybe he is trying to get fired. I'm sure he signed a multi-year deal. JJ Smart. He's got
We
enough
talked
money.
about it. Fired NBA or NFL coach, it's the best job.
It is. And the thing is, there are some good coaches available out there right now. Like Terry Stotts is sitting there on Golden State's bench, or There's some guys
Their own
available
bench
who'll
on the
do a better
Lakers.
job.
You have Nate McMillan, you have Scott Brooks on that bench right there. You have two
Yep,
veteran coaches right there.
Nate McMillan's one of the best coaches. I mean, Nate McMillan's a great coach. I mean, he's going to get another shot somewhere. Jeff Van Gundy, there's always rumblings for him getting another shot. I'm telling you, this could happen. And I can't say that JJ hasn't brought it on himself. He's acted like a jackass.
That's the thing.
I
He's a
don't.
little too with the media now. It's like he's a little too much of like a mainstream type of coach,
Yeah,
where it kind of
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know.
You're not here for clicks anymore. It's about winning games now, buddy.
Exactly. So I think it's kind
Welcome
of
to the coaching fraternity where your ass is in a sling every night.
you have a little E Hollywood. I think too much now.
Oh God, I hate that crap.
So I think you might be better off going to a coach like you said. That's kind of like yesterday's news
Sure, sure.
and kind of a bland guy, a no nonsense guy. But LeBron at his age, there's no way he's signing up for Jeff Van Gundy, I think, or Scott Brooks. But
No, no, true.
so we'll see. It's again, they're another fascinating watch this offseason as well. What the hell?
They got more problems. They got a lot of problems. They got more problems than the Bucks, I think.
Oh no, no. Well, here's the thing: the Lakers, I think, have serious issues. The Bucks, it can go either way. The Heat, the same thing can go either way, and the Grizzlies. But I think the Lakers, I think they're underwater. I think with their situation, you're kind of stuck. I think.
Yeah, and the thing is, with the Lakers brand, you're not allowed to be that way.
Yeah.
I know in pro sports, even great teams like the Celtics franchise goes through bad times, and they did. But the Lakers just never accept that. So they'll go out and they'll spend whatever it takes. There's already talks about Giannis going there, but if LeBron and Luka aren't going to take less money, then you're not going to be able to pull that off.
It's different, I think, too. I think Luka, the way he dominates the ball. I mean, Tim Hardaway, I remember him talking about it with his son was playing with Luka Doncic at the time, that when Luka came out, the ball moved better and things like that. So if you're another guy who really likes to score or wants the ball, I don't know if you want to play with them because you have to deal with LeBron, I'm guessing, next year and him as well. So I don't think it's attractive unless you're a role player to go there.
That's what happened with Reeves. Reeves was the sixth man of the year pretty much the whole year, and then they put him in a starting lineup. And if you would have left Reeves out there with that sixth man, you could have got some depth out of that situation, and you could have scored. But Reeves looked like he didn't know where to be.
Right. Yeah. So I think rotations and everything like that, that's what Coach Reddick has to figure out, I think, now that is that kind of stuff too. It's not just the game plan.
He was awful.
I mean, not subbing Uncle Dave in the second half. I mean, that is insane because then you put all your eggs in that basket. Once they lost that game, you're like, they're going to have nothing left next game. And that's kind of what happened. They ran out of gas.
And then you're telling your backups they suck.
Right, exactly. But like we talked about it, you have some veteran, veteran experience on that bench. Throw Alex Len out there. Throw Markieff Morris out there. See if they have anything for you. Markieff Morris could hit some shots too for you. So
Markieff Morris will hit somebody too.
Exactly. He's kind of a guy who's got a mean streak. Throw him out there. Knock Anthony Edwards on his ass a few times. Maybe muck the game up. But this is the thing. Like, Coach Reddick, I'm sure he has to know these things. He's played long enough and been a part of some great teams over the years. So I don't know why, that wasn't a thought process for him right there. And to not give Jackson Hayes any minutes, I understand you're trying to go small, but after that first half, when Gobert's just pounding the shit out of you, you have to then try to go then a different route. Don't die on that hill.
Yeah, and if you're not hitting shots yourself, put Dalton Connect out there.
Yeah. Yeah, see if he's got something for you.
I mean, he can flat out stroke it. We know that.
Yep. All right, well, they will move on from this Lakers and Timberwolves series. We'll go with the Nuggets and the Clippers here.
Yes, great series right now. Great series.
Boy, how about that? How about last game? Jokic only has 13 points, but the Jamal Murray just goes bonkers. 43 points.
Yep.
The rest of the team plays fantastic too. And
playoff Jamal, as we say back in the day.
Yep, you had Gordon, doing his thing, and Michael Porter. So it was really an unbelievable game last game. Jokic.
Yeah, this has been the most entertaining series. Been a lot of close games. The Clippers probably going to be kicking themselves, but I still think the Clips. I just can't figure out how the Nuggets are going to beat this team because the Clips, just deeper, more talented. It's just that it's a cursed franchise.
Well, Dave, you were saying that, and they're up 3-2 right now.
Yep, I know. It's crazy. You sit there and you go on paper and you go, Jesus. I mean, but I guess the Nuggets just have some of that deep DNA in them. Obviously, they've won a chip, but they just don't have the bodies. And Braun has stepped up, so I'm proud of him. But at the same time, like, oh my God, like it's just
I was so
incredible.
happy, Dave, too, for DeAndre Jordan. He gives them again what we talked about. Throw him out there for 10 minutes, and that's exactly what Coach Adelman did. And he gave you a nice assist. He had a couple rebounds.
6 minutes. He's played 6 minutes on average in 4 games. It's awesome.
Right. That's what you need him for. You just need him to give enough. That's it. Just 5-6 minutes, maybe close to 10. And if you, especially with what happened last game, they were doing
Sure.
okay with Jokic out there. They were maintaining the lead. So then you keep him out there a little longer than if that's the case, then.
Sure. And the sad part for them is Michael Porter's starting to heat up a little bit, just in time for them. And that's the bad news because he hasn't done crap. And
No,
now he's up to 11. Now he's up to 11 points a game, and he's shooting 46% from three all of a sudden. So you better get the hell out of Dodge before you lock this thing up.
right,
Because if he starts hitting, that's going to be a
yeah,
problem. But
last game he was 3 of 5 from 3-point range. So,
yeah, so here we go. And Russ just does Russ.
I was
Russ.
so happy for him, Uncle Dave, too. Russell Westbrook has 21 points off the bench. How incredible is that?
Yeah, Russ is. I hate to say,
Game
it, but
five,
Russ is
boy.
Russ, and you know how I feel about Russ. I mean, I know he's a head scratch. He's shooting 40% for the series, but
Can't question his
you
heart, though.
know,
Nobody's talking about
no, you can never question his heart. He's getting 5.5 rebounds a game, 1.5 assists. He's getting a steal, and he gives you what he has, and
You could
his
tell
plus
Coach Adelman or
minus.
the guys on the team have told him, look, if you're open with your feet set, just shoot that shit. Let it fly.
Yeah,
I'm on
let it fly.
it. If you're out your
You
feet set,
just
you got a great look, shoot it.
And I think that I think that the Nugs GM should still be on the hook here. Obviously, he was. But we don't know what's going to happen, with that situation. But Coach Allen's done a solid job here. I thought they were
In a
really
tough
outmanned
spot,
in this
too.
series.
A really tough situation, too.
Yeah,
So, uh,
Christian Braun's been
incredible.
good. Christian Braun is averaging 10.6 a game.
He had 18 in game
You know,
five, Uncle Dave. He had
yep.
18.
Aaron Gordon averaging 18. I mean, I love Aaron Gordon. He took a superstar role in a bad team and came to this team to take a lesser role.
And he was 7 of
But
11 in game five as well. I mean, everybody
yeah,
just looked really good game five, really sharp.
yeah. So tonight, Harden's got to show himself. I mean, I know we have so many of Harden's playoff failures over. He's got to step up though. It's time. It's time to go.
Well, that's the thing, Well, Dave. Game five, he only has 11 points, James Harden. He's
Yeah,
had some of
but
these
that's
quarters
that's
where he's
typical
managed.
James.
Yep.
That's typical James, leading the league in like assists and like scoring this year for a while. Right now, he's averaging 19 points.
Who's
And
been really good for
it's
the Clippers, Uncle Dave, who, again, I think people had forgotten about is Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn was 6 of
yeah.
7 with 15 points in
People
game
forget
one.
how good a player he was at Providence. I mean, just
Yeah.
excellent player.
And he's just a
And
great defender,
Zubats,
too. Really good.
I
Oh,
love Zubac.
Zubac might be the most underrated player in the NBA, honestly.
I think the only thing that the Clips might be suffering from is I think they might have too much depth and not know how to sub right now.
Right.
Which
Bogdanovich
really,
and
if you think about
Jones
it, if you look at this roster,
and Batum as
I
well.
mean, they're playing 8 guys, but Patty Mills could even get in there and help you.
He could.
So I mean, and so can Ben Simmons. So like,
And
I
Mills is
mean,
not even playing right now.
right, and I think that that's a problem right now. And I think sometimes you get stuck and you don't know where to sub, and it's not a natural feel. Derrick Jones Jr. is playing well, Batum, Bogey's playing well, but like, and Powell hasn't really, been himself, but he's coming around. I mean, it's just tough. I mean, sometimes you can have too much. I mean, it's one of those situations where sometimes you say to yourself, like, could you even like, sometimes you like a situation where maybe you're forced into an 8-man rotation and you don't have the option of a 9. Sometimes it makes it easier for you.
Right. Because Kawhi and James are both playing 35 minutes a night. So
And they should. And
that's
they
a
should. And
signal that
Zubac's got to be out there a lot, but he's got Chase Luca. Not Luca, he's got Chase Joker. But I'm telling you, I mean, I just can't imagine that, and we're going to see it probably tonight, but it's amazing that this series could end and the Clips could be out.
Yeah, because Bogdanovich is an excellent player as well off the bench for you, and Derek Jones is as
Yeah.
well. So it's like you said, you can kind of be blessed and cursed at the same time when you have 8, 9 guys that you could play.
Oh yeah, and it's Powell's got to step up, and like I said, Harden with 19.9 a game for the season. He had such a great season for him. He's got to step his game up. But this series is just such a puzzlement.
Yeah,
it's a crapshoot.
yeah. Well, be a game seven. The Nuggets can hang their hat on that. They know that they're automatically going back to their home floor. So it's interesting to see
Absolutely.
the team that's in that situation. What kind of effort do they give in this kind of game? Because you'd be like, hey, if
Yeah,
you blow your load here, you're afraid, but you figure, hey, we can hang our hat on that we have the home court advantage here, and the crowd can kind of carry it.
yeah, yeah.
So
That's true.
we shall see. Like you said, out of all the series, this one has been possibly the best one for sure. And
Yeah.
we've really enjoyed this one. It's funny. There's some series you don't want them to end. You want them to keep going
Oh,
forever.
this one I want to keep going. Best of 20.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's so fun. But we'll switch over, Uncle Dave, to this Rockets and Warriors series, which has
Oh
gotten very
God.
spicy.
Well,
This has been really a fun one as well.
Draymond Green getting away with murder.
Yeah, we. But you know what? I like Draymond because he's one of those guys. He's not afraid to cross that line slightly
Oh no, he
so much.
crosses it.
And then
He
it's
is the
funny.
line.
he crosses it, then acts like, "What are you talking about?" While he's kicking the other guy's ass. So funny.
And what I said to you in many podcasts, we talk about the greatest teams of all time, is why again I question with even when the Warriors were great, if they could be the greatest. That score again the other night, you see it all the time with that Warrior, even those great Warrior teams. The night where you just lose by 40 for the hell of it.
Right.
Well, actually, they came back and they cut it to
Oh,
15,
how about
but
that, Uncle Dave? The storyline is the Warriors bench, and our guy that we talked about on our third podcast, I think, was Kevin Knox. All of a sudden, he was in that
yeah,
game as well. But
yeah.
the second unit for and I have to, if you're the Warriors, you love it. Pat Spencer gets thrown out after headbutting Sengun. It's like, all right, why not? We're not, if
Yeah,
he gets suspended for the next game, so be it. But to show that
sure.
kind of fight and have the Rockets have to get their starters back and after being up 30 was really kind of incredible to see that. I don't remember seeing that too often when you usually have both teams subbing their second, third wave guys in. Usually it just kind of the game just goes as is and you don't.
This has been an ugly series. Let's be honest.
Yes,
This
yes.
has been a very
But
disjointed series. I
I
mean,
tell
I
you
mean
what though,
Green.
it reminds you kind of almost of those Pistons
Yeah,
not Pistons, the Knicks and the Pacers, those kind of series
sure.
with the
I mean,
physicality.
Green has been a coin flip, which is really weird. Jabari Smith. Some days I watch him and I just shake my head. I'm waiting, wonder what he's waiting for. Eason, the same thing. They're all guys that can't shoot, so it's like the brick team. Van Fleet finally hit a couple of shots the other
Yeah,
night.
Van
That's how you
Vliet
knew it
had
was
it
not their
going
night.
the last few games. Yeah,
Sangoon like can't score on Draymond. It's just bizarre. I'm sorry, I'm putting Reed Shepard in that game if he can hit a jump shot.
yeah. Well, he
If I,
checked a
I
little
mean,
bit.
they did a worse free. They can't make a free throw. It's just atrocious. It's such a disjointed series. I'm really surprised it's 3-2.
Yeah, it's all over
But
the
then the
place.
Warriors weren't interested last night. I'm sure the Warriors tonight are gonna.
Well,
They'll do their
with the
best.
Warriors, they kind of have the opposite of what we talked about with the Clippers and the Nuggets. Game six, that's their last chance on their home court in this series. So if you don't win that one, you
Yeah.
have to go to game seven to Houston.
Yeah. Well, the good news is they got to see if they can get something out of Heald tonight. They got to get Peyton to play his best, and obviously Draymond is. Still think Draymond's got to score more than 6.4 points per game. I know
Yeah,
that's not his role,
you
but
gotta get a couple
Draymond,
back. You gotta get a couple back doors. Maybe he hit a jumper for you. You got to get him. I think
yeah.
closer to
And
like 10
and,
or
and
12.
Kevon Looney's got to play a little more. He's averaging 10 minutes a night. I just think that they've given up on him. Moody looked okay last night. He was the only guy that looked like he had any fight in him. Obviously, the
Yeah, but the
naked
Rockets
pictures
have
with
some games where they're missing 11 foul shots. You can't have that.
yeah. Yeah, Podzinski must have naked pictures of him. Jimmy Butler was not good last night. We'll see how he is tonight. We'll see how he's moving.
And what's
Uh,
Steph Curry's thumb like? That's the other thing too with his hand.
yeah, absolutely.
Dylan
That's going to be
Brooks kind of said the quiet part out loud. He's like, "Hey, if a guy has an injury, you kind of go at that." So,
sure, absolutely. Yeah, well, you got it. That's how
yeah,
you do it.
yep,
That's how we taught it for years.
yeah, absolutely. So I think that's just kind of
Sure,
a gentleman's understanding there, or a
sure,
handshake under the table agreement. But that's kind of what happened.
absolutely,
You can see if you get
absolutely,
that hand. Maybe you foul him a couple times hard on the wrist
sure,
and see how it is.
sure,
So that's a very interesting series as well.
sure.
So we're gonna be excited to see what happens in that one too, no doubt. And we'll go over Uncle Dave. To our last series here that we haven't talked about, the Knicks and the Pistons, which is about to
Oh
tip off
God,
any minute here.
and I love Tibbs, but several big mistakes the other night. Um, First of all, you don't have to use a timeout to get those guys in.
Well, that's
Once
the
the
other thing
clock
too.
gets
He a minute and a half goes by and they're sitting on the scores desk right
at
there.
two, I think it was 225,
Yeah,
225 to 27
what are you
seconds. But
doing?
here's the thing. Once the game gets to 2 minutes, what can you do to get them in the game? You get two new fouls. The,
Right,
the penalty resets. Give a foul. You're
right,
not in the penalty. It's
right.
two in the last 2 minutes.
Oh my
Give a
God.
foul. Give a foul there and get those guys in the game because their offensive shot selection was
So
horrendous.
they go up and down the
And
court
again,
like 7, 8 times without them going in. I'm like, what are you doing?
oh my God. I mean, tell them to take a foul.
Yeah.
Again, this is what pisses me off as a high school coach who does everything, sweep the floor, uniforms, everything. Got 30 guys on the bench,
Right.
all looking good, all got the hair slicked back, and
Right.
now one of these motherfuckers equals a pimple on my ass. And the bottom line is, none of you tells them to give a foul and get those guys in the game.
Yeah. Oh my
You got to
God.
be kidding me. Or maybe one of them did, and Tibbs didn't think about it. But I'm telling you right now, that's a disgrace.
Yeah, that's really bad.
That's a disgrace. And I love Tibbs. That's a bad job. I
It
mean,
is.
that's a really bad job. And again, Cat not getting enough shots, you lose game 5. What a shock.
No. No, that's
And then Obi doesn't get enough shots, and Cat doesn't get enough shots. They're going to lose again
well,
tonight.
we talked about it too in our one of our recent shows too. They sometimes they get into a rut where it's too much Brunson, not enough guys touching the ball. That's kind of an
Oh, he
issue, I
pounded
think.
the
So,
crap out of it. And
yeah,
again, Payne does some decent things the other night. The other point guard off the bench did some good things, but Jesus, can we just like understand? Like, you got to have some kind of flow in this game here. Like, McBride has had some moments. I can't say he wasn't. Mitchell Robinson was very good the other night, and they lost the game. That's a real shocker
Mitchell
to me.
Robinson is 5 of 8 for you in that game in the
Yeah,
last game.
and
Yeah,
Towns doesn't touch the rock the other night enough, and I know he got in foul trouble. And Anunoby, the officiating's been pretty bad. We understand that, but it's been bad both ways.
I think
Um, you know,
Anunoby's got to get more than 13 shots.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing, Brunson can get 29 a night, but he's shooting 43%.
Right.
And
Yeah, he didn't have a
if
good
we
game
win over,
last game. Four of
and if we,
16. Yeah, not a good
yeah,
game.
and if we win over usage of dominating the ball, he is just killing that thing out front.
Yeah.
Bridges shooting 42%, Anunoby 43%, but he's not getting enough shots.
If you're the Knicks, though,
So I
you're
mean,
optimistic. Though you're like, hey, as a unit, we probably played not a probably not. They didn't play a good game, and they still almost won the game. So you have to feel pretty good about
absolutely.
it tonight.
But I would say that the Pistons are playing with this historic home game losing streak in playoff
Right? It's so
history here.
bizarre. Yeah.
It's incredible. You don't remember that
2008 is the
because they
last time they won a home playoff game.
yeah, and you had guys like Big Shot on the team. It's surprising,
Oh god.
but you got to get something tonight out of McBride or Payne. All right, you got to get one or the other here tonight. You got to get one or the other, and then you got to look at it and you got to say Bridges has got to give you something. Bridges sometimes I like him, but he looks a little like he doesn't want to hit people. Sometimes it makes me a little nervous. Hart gives you what he has, but
I'm
Hart got hurt,
shocked
and
that
that
he
really hurt him.
hasn't that a guy like Thibodeau who doesn't who loves and appreciates toughness that he hasn't thrown a guy in this guy can hit a shot. PJ Tucker, why don't you throw him out there and see what
Oh
happens?
yeah, he'll hit you too. He'll
Yeah,
he'll knock you
exactly.
on your
He'll use
ass.
his fouls and he'll hit an open shot in the corner. Why don't you throw him out there if you have
My,
some
my only
holes?
my big fear for the Knicks is if you're relying on Game 7, we've seen this a
I know.
million times in our
Anything can happen.
lives,
Guy turns an ankle or something like that. You can't do
and
that.
we've
Yep.
seen teams come into the Garden and
And
coming
then,
to
yeah.
play is obviously uplifting. We've talked about that,
The last
and
one
teams
was
automatically love you get everybody's best shot. It's like playing at Duke or Carolina. You get every team's
exactly.
best shot, and then what happens is that game's tied at the half in the Garden in Game 7. If you're relying on that, you're feeling pressure like you wouldn't believe. We've seen this. I've seen the Pacers come in there in Game 7.
Yeah, it was about last season, right? They came in there and they won. Now, obviously, the Knicks had a lot of injuries going on, so I'll give them a slight pass on that. But like you said, though, if you're the
What happened?
oh,
What
okay,
happened there?
I don't know what happened. Yeah, we got disconnected for a second there. So yeah,
So the thing we've seen this. We've seen guys rely on Game 7 before and lose,
right, right.
and we've seen the pressure mount in that building where you
And
can hear
think of it:
deafness from the crowd.
If Detroit wins tonight, they're relishing a chance Game 7 to come into Madison Square Garden and knock you
It's
off. You
house
have to
money.
understand it from that perspective as well.
Yeah, it's house money,
Yeah.
and it's just a situation that
Like you
I
said,
don't know. I'm not relying
if
on
that
that.
game's close at halftime, you're now maybe shitting a brick here.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, yeah. And Jalen Brunson, he's had some times where an ankle's been turned here and there. You don't want to have all
Four
your eggs
games in
in
a
one
row, he's left
basket.
the court.
Exactly. Oh God, yeah. So you don't want to have that. And Karl Anthony Towns is kind of the same thing. You're kind of every time he hits the deck, you're like, oh boy, is he
Yeah,
getting back up? So yeah, no, it's going to be fascinating to see what happens tonight
sure,
because
sure,
man, yeah, you have then the Celtics waiting on deck for whoever wins this series. So it's going to be
sure.
it'd be interesting to see. And right now, the game started. All right, the Knicks are up 10. So we
Oh
got
boy.
that going underway as right as we speak here. So yeah, Uncle Dave, is there anything else you want to mention here before we
No, just looking forward to
sign
his
off?
next series. Hopefully, you get this one posted, and then we can, as soon as these games are over tonight and tomorrow, right? That's when the last series in the first round ends tomorrow night, right?
Yes, yes. And
We're
I don't
hoping.
know as the NBA, I'm not sure. I know they've been doing this in the past, but I do not
Mm,
like when they start second round series before all the first series are
Yeah,
done.
let me see what
Like,
the bracket says here. It doesn't say Sunday is Cavs Pacers.
which is yeah.
Um,
Yes,
we know that already.
that's the start of the second series there.
That's
Yeah.
the only one we're sure of right now. And the Celtic series starts Monday. We know that the Wolves we don't have a date for. On the Thunder, we don't have a date for yet, so we're waiting on that. So we could definitely do one of these on Saturday, and it's going to be a blast
Yes. All right.
because
So yeah,
I just can't
after the
wait.
game Saturday, then we'll do another one.
Yeah. if there's a game Saturday, I mean,
Yes.
we'll see.
Well, yeah, if
But
pending, right? Exactly. Yeah.
either way, Saturday or Sunday, we'll do one before the
Right.
Cavs
So
and
even if
the
there's not a
Cavs
game,
pace.
even if there's not a game, we'll talk about what happens tonight here. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
All right, Uncle Dave. Sounds good. All right. All you
Okay,
basketball fans out there, live long and prosper. May the force be with you.
catch you later.